This your boy Jaystar back again. Like I told y'all would be for the showdown soon as we got all the injury notifications and updates and things like that. So I'm gonna get right into like the strategy that I use, for myself of making a lineup and things like that for showdowns. Um, this is gonna be like super information, man. Like I do so many notes, so like it's not just like a just a certain little thing. I just I'm not gonna not choose a running back or something just because they don't go to running backs sometimes or something like that, or a team doesn't throw to certain receivers sometimes. No, like I go through like defensive strategies. How's the defense going to play against this offensive scheme, and that's how I usually choose out the right people, man, because I don't want to miss out. Like, oh, this team is probably going to go to their running back more this game because the way the defense is going to play them. So I really dig deep into details into all that. Like, it's crazy. So this is gonna be like the best video for y'all to watch, like for real, if y'all really want to make a winning lineup for this game. So let's get right into it though. So first we have the Rams versus the Buffalo Bills. First game of the season and everything. The two teams' pace last year was 11th and 14th in pace. So I believe Buffalo played a little bit faster than the Rams did, but they're like neck and neck. So we know it's going to be a very fast paced game. Both teams play two different styles of defenses. So the Bills run a 4-3 defense, and they're like one of the best 4-3 defense that I ever seen, really, like by far, because they're just, man, like they have everything, like every freaking like position is almost like elite, for their defense. So, and now they even got Von Miller added to their line, so I know they expect to get way more pressure than what they used to get. But also all their linebackers are all like crazy good. So like it's very hard to pass, on those linebackers, because they're not the same. Like some linebackers on certain teams are too short, too slow, things like that. So you can expose them there, but they don't have that. That's why they run the 4-3. They got the four up front, pretty strong with Von Miller and the rest, but then they got the three linebackers, and they're all good linebackers. Their cornerbacks though, like I said, I told you I wasn't gonna come back with a video until everything is, all the updates and injuries have been given up. But cornerback situation, they have a rookie cornerback going to be starting out wide, and they have another cornerback that's not really that good out wide as well. Their slot cornerback is actually good, and their two safeties are amazing, and Micah Hyde and stuff like that. They have really good safeties out there. So I'm sure they'll be doubling and helping out the rookie, or maybe not helping out the rookie, but that's a way to expose them. I know so far that I've been looking at for their defensive point. And then for the other side, we have the Rams. They run a 3-4 defense, totally different defense. Of course, you got Aaron Donald rushing the passer and stuff like that. Linebackers, man, they picked up. They had Leonard Floyd already, but now they have Bobby Wagner. So got two linebackers gonna be going crazy, I'm sure now. Like with that, I would say they're gonna like be able to stop the gaps, like for the running backs, like because you got two very smart linebackers there, and they're fast too as well. So definitely going to be able to kind of stop the run there with them too. But then out in the backfield behind that, you only really have back there is Jalen Ramsey. So when I look at this game, man, like knowing those things that I just gave up just so far, it's like knowing that both of these teams are going to play real fast. The difference is the both of those defense. Let me just go over real quick. The 4-3 defense really is a defense where you need time to actually let a play really run, to really get off like the best, basically fantasy points and stuff like that. Really, if you thinking that way, like you're gonna need time in the pocket to let the play build up and fully run out, run out the route. And usually, what happens if you get enough time against a 4-3 defense, big plays happen off of it. So you can get a deep shot, down the middle, deep shots on the the sides if you pick on a cornerback that's maybe not so good, and also anybody like basically coming out the backfield late, because that's what I'm saying. Like if you got time, then more than likely somebody coming out the backfield late, by the time they really get out there, it's open. That's what I'm saying. Like that's their full route. So that's what I'm saying. The 4-3 defense allows those things to go off basically. So but like I said, the Bills run a incredible 4-3 defense. Like they're just stout everywhere. Like I mean, like every position if it wasn't for, like I said, I'm glad I waited, before I did these lineups like this. But if it wasn't for Tre'Davious White being out, I mean, I don't even know what the Rams would really have to use against them seriously. But on the other side, like I said, the 3-4 defense, it requires you to move fast. Like, you need to get the ball out real quick, because everything is like, once you let the defense get, like take too long, basically everything gets covered. So it's hard to get off, like big plays on that. You need to get the ball out as fast as possible. So it's going to be a lot of quick hits and stuff like that. A lot of things are double covered on the 3-4 defense too. Like the wideouts are usually double covered, but the people that are not double covered would be the slots, the tight ends, and sometimes, the running back is not, of course, probably going to be double covered as well. So, but you need to get the ball out quickly to them. And then, of course, every now and then, they're pretty breaking coverage and stuff like that. So the wideout, might be wide open, or he might just beat his man, if the cornerback is not good enough to stick him. So then, yeah, the wideouts could get off maybe, but more than likely in a 3-4 defense, like I told you, like the 3 people positions that are playing like one-on-one, actually having man coverage kind of is slots, tight ends, and running back. So we're going to get into this real quick, because like I know the first thing y'all probably want to know about is captains for this game. So far, I'm looking at the notes that I have here, and last year, if I go to the Bills side, the most points that was given up is to wide receiver. But a total of fantasy points against the Bills last year in games was 25 fantasy points. And that goes for all 3 receivers on the field. So it's really not a lot of fantasy points. And unless, I would say you feel that Cooper Kupp is going to get all 25 of those fantasy points, it possibly can't happen. Like if he just does the most with his targets, then he's going to have the most fantasy points, of course, right? But like I said, in total, they're giving up 25 fantasy points per 11 completions too. So if you think Cooper Kupp gets, 11 catches, gets you 25 fantasy points more than likely. So definitely a possible captain here, for the Rams side. Stafford, on the other hand, they usually only give up about 13 fantasy points to quarterbacks. So unless you expecting the most ugliest game, I don't know if Stafford is going to be the best captain. I know he is, $2,000 short, but this is probably going to be a very, very tough game for him. It's not, the most fantasy upside game for him at quarterback. You could look at like a 2 touchdown thrown game for him, possibly with those type of points. I expect it to be a little bit over that, being that it's such a fast-paced game. I do expect him to get 2 touchdowns at least. I don't know about the third one coming from the air or not. I think they might have to maybe rush it in, because the next fantasy points total for the Bills that they give up is running back. Running back was the highest after receivers, like I said. And you get in 22.9 fantasy points they give up to running backs. So if one running back literally can get there to 22 points, or maybe even just 15 points, I definitely think it's going to be a value to have one of them in your lineup then, like from the Rams side. If you thinking the Rams are, in basically a really good game scenario, like I told you, like when it comes to Showdown, you got to put together a story. So before you even get into making your lineup, you need to put together a story. You need to say the Rams is winning this game, and then go from there. So if the Rams winning the game, then like I said, if the Bills giving up 25 fantasy points total to receivers, then you probably might want a receiver then at captain. You might want to go with Cooper Kupp at captain. Then the next thing, like I said, since the next biggest thing that they give up is running back, I would try to find a way to get one of these running backs. You got Akers here, or you got where is he at? Henderson. You got Henderson here. So, you might want to throw that in there too as well. Of course, like I was saying, this is putting together a story that the Rams is winning this game, so late they probably going to try to put the game away with, running the ball, or as well as even if you're thinking even a shootout, Henderson, I would think Henderson might be the back if he's going to be the third down back, because then he's a pass catching back. So if you're thinking in a shootout, you would want a pass catching back, So, and then if you really think, Stafford in this winning, situation here, you're going to need him since you got Cooper Kupp at captain there. You go ahead and throw him in. If Cooper Kupp is getting 2 of the touchdowns that I'm thinking Stafford is throwing, then this is perfect, little stack here that you already got together here. And then you run the ball, like I said, because I do believe since that is 22.9 fantasy points to a running back, like I said, you can even have Akers if you didn't want Henderson. If you think Akers is going to be that running back that gets most of the bulk of those fantasy points out of those 22, if they don't just share half and half and get 11 each, because if it was 11 each, then you might as well have the cheaper one, So that would be, a little way to put together. If you're thinking, like I said, that the Rams is going to get the most, they're going to win this game and get all those fantasy points together, like I said. So the last person on the thing is tight end, and like Higbee. The only thing is they only give up 8 points fantasy to tight ends. So unless you think, 8 points plus a touchdown maybe happens, within those 8 points, but per targets and things like that, a game and things like that, for tight ends, the Bills aren't giving up much to the tight end. Like I said, they do have elite linebackers, man. Like it's really hard to go down the field deep on them, like it really is, because that 4-3 defense they play, like I tell you need time to build up for the play to really, get the best play, which I believe if Stafford gets the time he needs in the pocket, he has two young kind of cornerbacks to go after, and I feel like they're definitely going to send Cooper Kupp their way, even though they're, wide out cornerbacks. They're not slot cornerbacks, but the slot cornerback is actually a good cornerback. So I would think that's your best player. And I know how the Rams usually play their offensive scheme is to always get Kupp in the best situation possible. So if he needs to go against that rookie all day and play out wide most of the game, he probably will, even though I know they have Allen Robinson as well. So if you want to take a shot at the fact that Allen Robinson being captain with Stafford or something like that, because he does already have the matchup, the whole game he should have the matchup, playing against that rookie cornerback or the other cornerback that's not as good as well. So if you want to take a shot here, you can, but it's just that we do know that Cooper Kupp just a way better route runner. The chemistry with him and Stafford is amazing. And like I said, this is, like I told you, the fantasy points was per 11 completions. I don't know if Allen Robinson is going to get that many completions, in this game, but possibly if there's their, strategy is to get him the ball and not send Cooper Kupp out wide most of the time and things like that, So it could be to free up Allen Robinson on most of the plays by even just sending Cooper Kupp to his side, So I would think that would probably be their strategy, as well as they're going to have to get these running backs involved, because the Bills, that's their main thing that they give up. Like I said, the next biggest thing is 22.9 fantasy points to running back. So you're going to have to find a way to either run or dump it off to the running back. Like I said, coming out the backfield, things like that, you're going to have to do that. So I definitely feel like the running backs are in play in this showdown. Let's go to the other side though real quick. So from the other side, like I said, the Rams run a 3-4 defense. Okay, so the things that the Rams give up: fantasy points, 35.5 fantasy points to wide receiver. That's 10 extra points than what the Bills give up. So the receivers on this side are just in a better situation, just period. I know that we got Ramsey, and more than likely he will be lined up with Diggs, which to me then just opens up Gabriel Davis. So like I would say a Gabriel Davis captain is going to be in a very, very good situation, since 35 fantasy points, even if you separate that just between the two of them, even though I know you do have two other receivers here. And let me get to where is he at? Okay, right here, Crowder, and also where are you at? Oh, yeah, 2,400. McKenzie. McKenzie's supposed to start in the slot. And then we got Gabe, wide out 3. And then we got wide out 1, of course, Diggs. Diggs will probably match up with Ramsey, some of the times, most of the time, things like that. But also Ramsey, he kind of slides into the slot on certain plays, since they run a 3-4 defense, and he comes, he plays a linebacker. So if Diggs does move inside, I could see even Ramsey moving with him on certain plays like that. But Gabe Davis should have probably the best matchup, I would say, on the team besides the slot receiver. So, and being that, like I said, it's 35 fantasy points they're giving up per 13 completions, 13 to 14 completions. So, I mean, if you split 7 and 7 completions to a receiver, I'm sure they can probably get about 17 points then, fantasy or something like that. And that's not counting a touchdown or anything like that. I know you were looking for 20 something fantasy points, but it's either got to go to these receivers, is what I feel that should be the captain on this side of the game for Buffalo, or as well as the quarterback was 17 and a half. So like I just said, if both receivers end up only getting 17, the quarterback gets 17, and they're all kind of tied. The only thing is we do know with Josh Allen here, we have the rushing ability, So when I look at the Rams, they give up 22 fantasy points to the running backs total. So I'm thinking like, man, well, that's Josh Allen too, a part of that running backs, like I know they have Singletary, and he can definitely take, half of those points, but if you was to add 5 or even 10 of those fantasy points to the Josh Allen that's already posted, probably get you about 17 and a half, then you talking about another 11 points on top of that to 5 more points, he's going to have 20 something fantasy easily. So that's the automatic to me like best captain so far on this board that I look at in this game. And rolling with some of his receivers or something like that, being that since the Rams do give up receiver points and fantasy points like that, the next biggest thing that I would say, like I said it was running back at 22. The next biggest thing is tight end with 12 and a half points per 5 completions. And I definitely can see Knox getting all those points, all 12 of those points. I just don't know for sure if it's going to be needed. It really depends, since this is a supposed to be a shootout caliber game here we talking about. And 12 points for 6,800, it's all right, but if it's a really whack slow game, 12 points is going to be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not getting a lot of fantasy points, 12 points is like a floor that you wish everybody that you pick had. So I definitely can see Knox getting 12 points. Like, even if it's going to be like 3 catches, 30 yards and a touchdown or something like that, he's right there then, right? So I just don't feel that he's definitely not needed to me as a captain. Though I wouldn't be taking Knox as a captain in this. So basically, I would have to say then all the captains that I look at so far is going to have to be, yes, Cooper Kupp is possible if he takes all the fantasy points at receiver. Like I said, next is Josh Allen would be. After that, this is not in order. I'm just picking all the ones. So then after that, like I said, the receivers for the Bills. Bang, bang, right there. Then the next persons I always have to say, the next players, I would have to say would have to be the running backs for both teams. So we can, you could take Singletary if you think he's going to have a, bigger role in the offense this year and actually rushing the ball. Or, since it's the home team is the Rams, you can roll with Akers, because I believe he's the lead back. So I would definitely say the lead back will be, more of a captain, possibility than anything. As well as, you could take a shot at Stafford, but like I said, this is a hard defense, man. Like, I don't know if Stafford's really going to be viable at captain this game. But if he does somehow throw over 300 yards on this team, because like I said, there is 2 cornerbacks that are, one is a rookie and then the other one is not that good either. And I know Stafford, I feel like Stafford is going to have the time in the pocket to actually throw the ball down the field and be able to wait it out, and the big play opens up for him. If it's Cooper Kupp, if it's Allen Robinson, we do have news that Van Jefferson is out, so you got to go look at Scour Nick, he being able to throw the ball to, or Tutu Atwell right here. Those are his receiving options so far. Of course, Higbee too as well. But like I said, Higbee get about 8 points maybe. He might get a touchdown though with that, so it might be able to add another 6 points to that and be 14. But so Stafford has a lot of options. It's just about getting him time in the pocket to open up those big plays. But like I said, Stafford. But then also, like I would say, probably the lowest captain I'm going to is definitely would be Allen Robinson. Like I said, just because of the matchup. Like I said, he's not going against Tre'Davious White. If he was going against Tre'Davious White, I think he would just be out of the picture for me, period. I really would just want to just take Cooper Kupp and just call it a day, like for real. But since his matchup could be a rookie, I feel like the veteran that he is, and he's a very great contested catching receiver. So I definitely feel like he's a good option to go ahead and pick at captain. And if you do that, you can still go ahead and toss in Cooper Kupp if you want to, and Stafford, and run it back. Like I said, since the best option so far that I'm seeing on the Rams side is the receiver, that's where they give it the most points. I would definitely run back a receiver over really running back in that situation. If I'm thinking it's a playback that I want to do for that side, I would do the receiver just because it's way more fantasy points. Like I said, 35 fantasy points. If you even split that between 2, you get about 17 points. You split that 1, he's having a ceiling game, then you're going to want him as captain, really. So I definitely, like I said, for the Bills side, like I said, we're definitely just looking at Josh Allen, of course, and Stephon Diggs, and I would say these are my favorite ones I would take a captain. Gabe Davis. These 3 I think is got the most potential to get 2 touchdowns. Even with, like I said, Ramsey being on Diggs. If Diggs actually switches sides or something in the game, like I know he will, he'll probably move inside too as well. But he'll probably take on the other matchup that Gabe Davis is going to have most of the game, more than likely. But when he does get over there to the other side, if he just beats his man, he can go for a 100-yard game too as well, 2 touchdown game too as well. So that's what I'm saying. Like, these receivers right here definitely can get you the points to be a freaking captain. That. But Josh Allen, if you're thinking he's going to throw one touchdown each to both of these. And then you got the rushing ability of him, and like I said, they give up 22 fantasy points anyways to running back. So if he's taking some of those rushing points fantasy, then he's definitely like by far the best captain on this whole thing, like for real, because he's just able to take advantage of other position fantasy points, and that by far makes him the best captain then. So, but like I just told you, like the best thing to run with him is definitely his receivers, all the way to, like I said, I mean, we know Crowder would probably be subbing in the game, but McKenzie too as well. So you have all these options here, of course, and like even his tight end, like I said, if you think his tight end is going to get all 12 fantasy points, then it could be needed as well, So you can run all those options there with him in this game. And let me see. So far, I'm gonna just give y'all like what my thought process would be. Like if I made a storyline to this game so far, I'm gonna end it with this storyline to this game. I would think is definitely shootout capable now. Now that we have Tre'Davious White being out the game, yes, it sucks. It does suck for the Rams that Van Jefferson is out, because it would have helped to have that extra option out there. That somebody that we know he probably has a little bit more chemistry with Stafford. Plus, he's kind of a deeper threat receiver for them. Lines out wide. Without having him, I don't really know what receiver, other than Tutu Atwell has speed, but he's short. So he'll be in there, as a gadget kind of player type of thing. I think he'll probably do a run play. Could trick the Buffalo defense. The last time we saw Buffalo, Hartman ran, did a run play on them in a reverse, I believe, and ran it up the sideline for a touchdown for like 20 yards. So like if Tutu, comes in and do something like that, then definitely, could pull off a rushing touchdown, could take some of the rushing points that, like I said, they give up 22. So got to keep that in mind as well. We do have some other running backs too here, lower running backs that I didn't mention for Buffalo, and James Cook and Zach Moss. I think it will be, it's really kind of hard because Zach Moss probably has more chemistry with the team, but they did draft James Cook for a reason, and I do feel like they are going to use him for pass catching ability. In this game though, since I feel that the Rams do give up a little bit, more to the receivers, I don't know how much I'm going to need these running backs, as well, because I do feel like Josh Allen should be able to have a good game just running, throwing the ball to all his receiving options, and I really feel like that, it's a high scoring game more for Buffalo to me than it is for the Rams. The only thing is I do feel like before, when it was Tre'Davious White going to play this game, when I thought he was going to play this game, I did feel like the Rams was probably going to get blown out. So I did more go into this game thinking it could be a 5v1 game, real talk. So, but now I feel like 4v2 lineup, 3v3 lineup could win you this whole, $1 million, or, if you end up tying with everybody, so be it, like at least you're going to win. So I really feel that 4v2, 3v3 lineup, and if I was like trying to think of like who would I want to play at captain, like I said, like we can go with Diggs, because I know just a lot of people probably won't take Diggs and things like that, but I do know the possibility, like if they want to match him up with the weaker cornerback, because usually Jalen Ramsey doesn't follow receivers side to side, kind of stays on one side. So I could just see let's go ahead and give Diggs an easier time now and move him on to the other side. And I just think he's going to be able to take advantage, because Chase was able to even catch on Ramsey, in the Super Bowl, as well as Higgins did too. And they both caught big yardage one caught a big yardage touchdown in Higgins, and Chase only caught like a big yard play on him, like 50 yards. So I definitely still believe, though, Diggs is probably going to get the most targets. I think Davis will probably be around the 8 to, 8. I believe like 8 or lower maybe. But the only thing is I do know he has the easier matchup. So I still kind of would want him in my lineup. I definitely got to have Josh Allen if I was doing this. If I was going to run back, like right now, I would think, like, where would I want to run back somebody? Like I said, Robinson actually has the easiest matchup over Cup, and we do know Cup is going to get a million targets and stuff and things like that. The only thing is, if Robinson has the easier matchup and he just does more with his targets, like I said, it's only 25 total fantasy points. And if you was to split that, you talking about what, like total of like 12 or something and a half fantasy points, something like that, to each receiver. And if I was going to say that they both had equal opportunity, then in a run back, then I would just go ahead and go with the easier matchup, and run that person back. Then, like I said, the next biggest thing for both sides is giving up the running back. So I think I would want, who would I really want to run back here? Like, For a running back, let me see. Pass catching option is what I would think. I might just go with Henderson, really, in a situation like that. Like thinking of the run back, if they're going off with the receiver games and stuff like that against them, I would think that pass catching back you're gonna have to dump it off because, like I said, Buffalo's defense is strong, man, and you're gonna have to go to the weakest links to run this back. So the weakest links right now that I know is going out wide to your best receiver and then going to dump it off to your running back because they don't really give up much. The Buffalo defense likes to give a lot of 5-yard dumps, coming across the field with your receiver as well, 5 yards, or you're going to have to throw it over the top of 2 or 3 6'5" linebackers that they have, and then hope that their safeties that are Pro Bowl safeties don't get there to light them up when they get it to them. So I would think over the middle. Who's going back that way that I can get for maybe, let me see, $6,000 left. Let's see. Well, who would I really want? If I can get Higbee here, that's who I would probably take, real talk, because that seems like the perfect scenario. Like I said, if you're going at the receiver on out wide, because you already know that cornerback isn't that good, and you have a number one receiver option right here in Robinson, then you can go ahead and dump it off to your running back as well in a game scenario like that. And then, like I said, over the middle is where you got to hit, or you got to hit a short 5-yard. That's probably where Higbee is going to be at, and he's just a bigger target than even just Cooper Kupp. So this is a good lineup to me. If I was running for the $1 million, I definitely would enter this one in too as well. And I would do other, like I told you, all the other captains that I mentioned in this video. So, but this lineup right here would be like logical to me that like this is all that gets all the max fantasy points to me. Like I still got Josh Allen in his lineup, who's probably gonna have one of the most fantasy points. But I have both of his receiving options being at 35 points total to a receiver. These two probably get the most targets, so they probably got the best chance of being captain and to overtake Josh Allen being captain. And I was still able to get so many nice fantasy points here. I believe like if Allen, like I said, gets maybe he ties, like I said, with Cooper Kupp in fantasy points, since Cooper Kupp has the harder matchup. They can probably equal out. And then I won't need Cooper Kupp then in that situation. Then, like I said, with Henderson being a pass catching back, coming in as that third down back, coming out the backfield late, like I said, you have to come out the backfield freaking real, late to get the, 4-3 offense and stuff. I mean, defense, my bad. Defense, you have to let the play build up. So you need time. And I just could see like Stafford looking down the field and then there's nobody open. You know what I mean? And then he has to dump it off to Henderson, on a third down play. And Henderson can go up the field and turn that, to something more. And then might happen again later, might do a screenplay for Henderson. I can see all that happen. That's when I'm putting together a story, like I said. Then, like I told you, like since the whole game, the 5 yards to, like I said, the middle of the field at about the 15-yard, that's where you're going to have to target in this game, and I just know that's where Higbee, and we do know Cooper Kupp goes there too. But I'm just thinking like Higbee probably has maybe an easier matchup, in that situation, or just because he's also just a bigger target than Cooper Kupp, and you can probably hit him a lot easier. So to get the whole, what is points I would need, what he gets supposed to get, about 8 points, that's probably all I would need. It's about 8 points here, but you could also replace him if you don't want that. You could have replaced him with, let me see. Let's see. One more person I can think of. I would say Tyler Bass in this situation, since I'm already rolling with the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, I would even take something like this. Like I know it left a lot of money on the slate right here, or the lineup and everything, but hey, this is for $1 million, y'all. So like leaving a lot of money could probably really make you solo win, like instead of being tied with the world. But it's your boy Jaystar. Hope y'all enjoyed this Showdown video. I am out with this one. Like I told you, it was gonna be super detailed. I hope y'all enjoyed all the details that I gave y'all there. I'm gonna be back with the full slate, and oh my god, man, full slate update, since some of the injuries have already came out, so I might be dropping that real soon, maybe tomorrow for Thursday. It's gonna be more detailed kind of than even this video was. So like you definitely want to stick around so you can really be able to build your stacks for each game, because I know I've been getting comments for like a lot of other quarterbacks, that's not even a part of the most high scoring games and stuff like that, because people got good hunches and things on certain quarterbacks and things. So that video will definitely be able to help you be able to stack those quarterbacks that you just got good hunches with, with the right people. because like I tell you, see how on this video I go over defenses, I go over what I believe is going to be, you know, the weakness of both teams and stuff like that, and be able to what the offense can take advantage of, you know. So it really helps you out, so you're not picking the wrong person, you know, to stack with a certain quarterback, you know, because you don't want to be doing that, because then you just wasted, you know, all the money, and then they don't do nothing. They get you 5 points fantasy, but you got the right quarterback, you know what I mean? And that sucks. So, but it's your boy Jaystar. Hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'm out. Good luck, y'all.